Hello and welcome to this week's tutorial. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great day. In this week's tutorial, we'll be creating a quick to-do app with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So on the screen right now, this is our finished project. I want to show you the demo. So as you can see, as soon you have this input field and this button, so you can write your to-do. For example, I can write create a new YouTube tutorial. Now as soon as I press enter, it create my to-do list right here, and I can add another one. So you can say buy milk, and I can press this add button and add it, the second one right here, and I can add more. You can say start reading a new book. Press enter. I can press enter or press this button. It will do the same thing. Add it right here. Now that's the first feature. We can add either press the button or press the enter key. And if there's nothing right here and we try to add it, it won't add anything. Okay. So with the second option, if I refresh this, our to-do list is still right here. We still have our to-do items. We see still right here because we're gonna be using local storage to save this one. So on reload, you can pull them back up. Also, you can edit or delete the list. First of all, let me edit this. Create a new YouTube tutorial. Press it. You can see the typing icon started where it ended. I can change this one, just say create YouTube video. If I press enter, it's saved and this icon changes. So I refresh, it say create new YouTube video, no more tutorial. If I press edit again, let's say I say YouTube tutorial video. And now you see the icon have this check mark. If I click it now, it does the same thing. It's saved again. So I refresh, it's still right here. And let's say I want to delete that. All I had to do, press the delete button right here. It's deleted. I refresh it, it's gone. Okay, and I can delete all of them. Now all of them are gone. So we're gonna be working on that this week tutorial. We're gonna be creating with the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And there's a link, there will be a link in the description where you can download the finished project right here, the source code. These are source code of the entire project. Okay, you can download it. But in this tutorial, I will be creating it from scratch. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, welcome back. So I already have my HTML open right here. I had a starter boilerplate right here. So now we're gonna start writing the HTML for our to do. So the first thing, we need to create this input right here field on the top right here. Okay, so with that, let's get started. Inside of my container div, I'm gonna create another class called app dash wrapper like this. Inside here, create my h1 with a class called title, and we say what will you work on today. After my h1, now I'm going to create a form element with a class called form like this. I'm going to delete the action attribute right here. We don't need it. Now give it an ID to do app form like this. Okay, inside my form, I'll create another div called form dash group like this. Okay, and inside here, I'm gonna create my input field with a class form dash input. Okay, and gonna be type gonna be text. I'm gonna give a placeholder, and the placeholder will be today. I 1, 2, and 3 dots like this. Now after my input field, I'm gonna create my button, submit button. I'm gonna have a class called btn. I'm gonna be type and submit. Okay, and for the content, I'm gonna put add, and I use the remix icon, so I that, and the class will be or I. Like this. I save it. We just get this right here. Okay, so after that one, now I'm gonna start working on the list, so when we add it, it can start showing up on the bottom right here. So after this form, I'm gonna come down here after the form, create UL element with a class to do that list, and then give it an IDs, ID the same ID, so to do list again, to do list. Okay, if you have any question during this tutorial, feel free to put it in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to help you. So I'm gonna, after this one, I'm gonna create a list that will hold each individual to-do list. So I'm gonna have a class called to do item like this. Inside of it, I'm gonna create a form, another form element with a class called form. Okay, I'm gonna delete the action. Come down here, create my form group. And right inside of the form group, I'm gonna create a paragraph with a class called to do the text like this. Okay, and said to do the text, I will create the content will be create a new YouTube video. Okay, now after this paragraph, I'll create my input and give it a class from dash inputs. Okay, and give it a value, and the value be the same as the text content right here. But there's something I can copy this one, paste it right here. And after this sample field, we're gonna create a two button. When we add it, for example, I say buy milk. Now I'm gonna create these two button now. Okay, so I'm gonna create a div with a class called options, and I'm gonna create a button element with a class btn, and another class called btn dash update. That's gonna be for the first one, the update button. And I'm gonna give it a type called button, and I'm gonna use my icon again. So if you're liking this tutorial, feel free to like it, and also subscribe and hit the bell notification icon, because I create web design development tutorial on weekly basis. Thank you. Now continue, I'm gonna create another button, so I'm gonna copy this one, paste it right here, and for this one, it will be in the update, it's gonna be delete. This is the button I'm gonna use to delete that. So icon will be delete that bin. If I save this now, we get these two right here. Okay, so that's the first list. Now I'm going to duplicate this one, create another one, and this one I will just gonna say Control D to duplicate these two. Start a new workout session like this. Okay, I'm gonna paste it again, third time, and for this one it's just gonna be finish reading the new book, just like that. Save this. Now we get this right here. So that's for HTML right there. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, also hit the bell notification icon so be notified when I release tutorial every week. Okay, so that's for the HTML. Now the next step is the CSS. Okay, so let's just get started on the CSS. Okay, for the CSS I already had the starter style. I just had the colors and the reset style a little bit, the HTML, set up font size, root font size with 10 pixels, and for the body give it the font family, the background color, and I have our container as you can see right here. Okay, so after the container, I'm gonna style this title right here. So come down here, select my title class, give it a text inline to be center, and margin bottom to be 4 rem. Now you can see right here. After my title, I'm gonna start styling the form. So I'm gonna select my form class, just give it a width of 100%. Okay, that's all we're doing for the form. Now I'm gonna style the form group that wrap around the input and the button. So I say form dash group, it's gonna be width of 100%, the position relative, set display, reflex, and gap to be 2 rem. So I'm gonna put space between each element. So if I say this right now, as you can see, I put the 2 rem gap, so 20 pixel space in between. Okay, so that our form group. Next, it's gonna be the form input. So this input right here, this. Okay, now I'm gonna start styling the top. So first I'm gonna set a display to be block. By default is display inline. Set a width to be 100%. Set a flex to be auto, so it take the remaining space when we start the button right here. Set a background color to be transparent. Save this, as you can see right here. Now we had this border around there. We want to style the border so it can look better, as you can see right here. So set our border to be 0.2 rem solid, and I'm going to use our off-white color like this. Okay, and now if I save this, you won't see anything because the off-white color is the same as the background color. So I'm going to change the off-white, this color right here. So I'm going to specify off-white again, and I'm going to change it to ADB 5BD, just like that. I save this. Now you can see. Okay, so that's the border. I'm gonna give it a border radius to be 0.6 rem. Save this. Is rounded a little bit. Now after the border radius, I'm gonna give it a padding of 2 rem. Nice, so looking a lot better. And get a font size to be 1.6 rem, a lot bigger. Now you can see the font family here is not the same as this one. As you can see, it's different. So we're gonna update that. So font family set to inherit. So I save this. Now you can see it updated now. So after the font family, I'm going to get a transition for the border color for our hover and focus border color. 0.3 second ease and out. Save this. Now I'm going to do the transition and the hover and focus. So from input, hover, and the same thing for focus. I'm going to change the border color to be the primary. Save this. Now we hover it, as you can see right here. Focus showing. Now next thing, I'm gonna start this button right here. So we'll have a class btn. Okay, so I say btn, set a padding to be 2 rem and 4 rem. 2 on top and bottom and 4 left and right, as you can see. Set a font size to be 1.6 rem as well. Font family to be inherit as well. I'm gonna set display to be inline flex. I say gap to be 1.2 rem. Save this. As you can see, make sure it's, for example, everything is center right here. So I'm gonna say the inline item to be center and justify contents to be center. And for example, we want to set our mouse to be pointer, so cursor pointer. Save this. Now you can see. Okay, so after that, I'm gonna remove the border to be 0, set it to be 0. Give it a border radius to be 0.6 rem, and background color to be my primary, and then the color to be the off-white. Save this, as you can see right here. Okay, now also for this one, I'm going to do the hover and focus as well. So I'm going to give it a transition. So I'm going to copy this transition right here. And instead of the border color, going back shadow. Okay, so like this. Now I'm going to do the hover and focus. So that btn hover, and then do focus. If you have any question, feel free to leave it in the comment section. Also, if you like this video, be sure to like it. And also, if you have not subscribed, be sure to remember to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. Thank you. Now I'm gonna set the back shadow to be 0 for the X, 0 Y, 0 for the blur, for the spread 0.6 RAM. So if I save this now, and then we give it a color, gonna be the primary lights. Okay, so if I hover it, you can see these primary lights right here, as you can see. Okay, so that's our tab input field. Now I'm gonna start working on the to-do list right here. So I'm gonna write a little comment right here. So the class to do list, and set the margin tab to be 4 RAM. Set the overflow to be hidden for the X and the auto for the Y. Set the border radius to be 0.6 RAM, and our border to be 0.2 RAM solid, and the off-white. Now you won't be able to see this off-white because they're same as this background color, so we're gonna change it again. So on top here, I'm just gonna copy this one, and save it. Now you can see. Okay, now each one of these to-do lists are wrapping inside of the to-do item right here. So I'm gonna style that one. So down here, oh, before we go in for the max width, max height of 80 RAM. Okay, now after this one, I select my to-do list and then select to-do item inside of it, and give it a padding of 2 RAM like this. And then we're gonna do the same then for the to-do test. The to-do test is this one on the paragraph right here. That's a to-do test. Say to-do list and to-do text. Just gonna give it a font size of 1.6 RAM. Okay, now we want to style this input field inside of this to-do list. Okay, so set a to-do list again, and then set our from inputs. So first I'm going to remove all the default styling that we have, and then when we style this, we're going to remove them all. So I'm going to remove the border 0, border radius 0, padding 0, but we need to add some padding to it later on. So when we put this icon, you can see it takes some space. Okay, so instead of padding right to be 12 RAM. This, save it. Now it's gone. Okay, now I'm gonna start styling this right now. So say to-do list, and then start the options. Cover a wrap around the option class. Set a position, absolute, tap 50%, transform, translate Y, negative 50%, like this, and then right be 0. If I save this now, as you can see right here, Now we start styling each individual button as here, because it's different than this one, as you can see. So say the option btn, and I'm gonna give it a padding of 0.8 RAM all around. Now we're looking a lot smaller now. So after that, now I'm gonna start the updates and the delete individually. So option btn dash update, like this. Set our background color to be primary lights, and color to be the primary dark, like this. Save it, as you can see right here. Okay, and we need to update the hover. You can see had this back shadow right here. So I'm gonna copy this one like this, come down here, try to hover, and this is gonna be focus. Say back shadow, to be 0.2 RAM, and then primary. So a lot like that. Okay, so that's the update. I'm gonna do the same thing for the delete. So I'm gonna copy this and duplicate the Shift Alt down arrow key to get this one. This one be for delete, like this, and it's gonna be danger light. So danger light, and for last one gonna be danger dark. Save this, we get like this. Okay, so that's the button. Now create the, for this input, remember this is the input right here where we can type stuff. We want to hide it. Okay, so basically the way this work is we have the input that is hidden. So when we click the edit, the input field is activated, so we can type whatever we want to type. Okay, when we save it, it's saved. Okay, and we see how this paragraph, okay, by default the paragraph gonna be showing and the input gonna be hidden. So when we update it, the input is hidden and the paragraph will be showing, and we have the new information. Okay, so now here I'm gonna set the to-do list input, to-do list, and then from inputs to be hidden, not hidden, to be display none. If I say this now, see, it's hidden. Now we only had a paragraph. If we right click, inspect, it just only the paragraph is showing. This one, the input is hidden, only the paragraph. Okay, so we need to add some line to here to separate them individually. So down here, take this one and do the to do list, and then to do item. Let's say the border bottom to be 0.2 RAM solid, and then off white. Again, for this one I'm gonna change it again, the color. So I'll just go up here, grab this one, save it. Now you can see. Now for the last one, it add border as well. Okay, so we don't need border on the last one right here. So to do that, all we have to do is the not right here, and then say last of type. If I say this now the last bottom border is hidden right here. Okay, so that is our list. As you can see, for example, we only have one right here, but you can see if you have multiple, this is how it looks like. Okay, so when we refresh our page, there's already something here, but if I delete this one and refresh it, there's nothing here. Everything is hidden. Okay, it's nothing showing until we add it and to do item. Okay, so before that, because of that, we want to hide the URL to do list. We want to hide it and load. So I'm gonna say that to do list. I'm gonna give it a class called heading like this. Set that to be display none. If I say this now and go back here and give it a class heading, save this. See, it's heading. Okay, also once we click our edit right here, we want to show the input field and hide the paragraph. Okay, so what we will do is after this one we create another selector. So to do item and this, and I'm going to have a class called is edit. When I have this class, I'm going to select our paragraph to do text. This also display to be none. So if I save this now, see our paragraph is showing, but soon I give this class is edit, save it. See, the paragraph is hidden. Now we want to display the form input field. Okay, so if I go here, I can copy this one and duplicate this one. Now instead of to do text, I'm gonna be input field and form input, and then gonna be block, display block. Okay, save this. As you can see, now it is showing. Okay, so that's for the CSS. Now let's jump to the JavaScript. Okay, so I'm gonna create some variable to grab some items. So I'm gonna create my first variable, which will hold our form, the first one right here, our form input right here. So I'm gonna say that to do form. That's our main form right here. So I say documents, that query selector, select the ID. So this first one right here, yeah, this one. I'll copy this ID, paste it right here, and I'm gonna create another one. So tax list, and this one will be the URL that wrap around all of this. So it's just gonna be again the documents, and this will be to do list, just like that. After that, I'm gonna create our to do list, and this we are sure hold our to do items. Okay, so every time we add it, this one we hold. So we're gonna, by default, when we start, it's gonna be empty array. So when we add this new item, it's gonna be added to this array. Okay, so after this, on our page load, remember how if we had nothing here, when we refresh it, it's hidden, and we have this heading class right here. We're gonna do that. So we're gonna add our heading class and reload. So I'll say tax list, the class list, go add heading. I save this. Nice heading. Okay, nothing showing. So after this one, I'm gonna create a function that's gonna get a tax. So when we write something, we enter. This function we take care of getting the value, pushing it into the to-do list, also storing it inside of the local storage. Okay, so say get tasks like this. So we're gonna attach event listener to our form right here. So to do form, add event listener like this. We're gonna listen to submit like this. Pass an event as an argument, and by default we're gonna prevent the default option from reloading. So prevent default. So if I save this and call our function right here, so get task, save it. So now when we press it, it doesn't reload. I won't reload again. Okay, so now I'm going to grab the input, this input right here. So I'm going to say constant inputs. It's going to be the E that targets. This target right here represent our form itself. Target that query selector. So I'm grabbing a form and selecting the input field. Okay, so we're looking for the inputs like this. Now next thing, I'm going to grab the value in the input. So the input that value. This we grab the value. So like cancel like this. Yeah, value. Let's save this now and right click, inspect. I'll put my console at the bottom. So if I press enter, see it's empty, there's nothing in it. If I write something in it, see I have milk. If I write like an egg, see I have milk and egg. That's the value. Now this is the value we want to push to the to-do list array, and we want to make sure that we have a value. For example, when we have the empty, it's still showing. We don't want to push empty item inside of the array, so we want to make sure that we do have a value. So we're going to check firstly if our value is not empty string, then to do list that push value. Okay, so like console log our to-do list this. So let's say press enter, it's empty. Okay, now if I put something like I say hello is there. Okay, if I put there hello there like this, now hello is there, but this letter see the same input right here, even though it's showing both. Okay, but you can see it's adding it correctly. So I delete this and put by something like this. See, I had these three. If I put by here, it's still adding to, even though it's just the same string right here. So what we need to do after we push and the item inside of the array, we need to reset our input field. Okay, so what we need to say inputs that value equals empty. So we reset input. So if I save this now and I take a look, I say hello. Now you can see only hello is added. You say there. Now it's two separate and no longer hello there together. But if I put hello there, something like this, then all of these are added. Okay, hello there and then hello there. I press enter, nothing is added. Okay, nothing is added because we only want to add it when the to-do list is added when the value is not empty. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is then Now refresh, it goes away. So we want to push it inside our local storage. Okay, so since this is the array, so to push to the local storage, we're gonna use the window, the local storage, the set item, and then we give it and the name, a key. So I will just call it tax and then the value. Now we want to and push an array, which is an object inside the local storage. So to do that, we got to convert it to a string. Okay, to push object into the local storage, we got to convert it to string. So to do that, we're gonna use the JSON that stringify. Okay, and then we're gonna put our array name right here. So to do list right here. Okay, so save this. So let me put hello. Nothing show up here, but if we take a look inside our application tab right here, and we look inside our local storage right here, our address right here, we have the hello right here, and say the key is our tax and the value is this array where the hello at position 0. So if I put there again like this, now we have hello there. Now it's storing correctly. Okay, so now we need to create our list, start displaying there right here. So I'm gonna create a function that can be add them to it. So first thing we need to do, we want to make sure that our to-do list, we do have some value and we still have some item before we display it. So I'm gonna say if to-do list that length is greater than 0, then we're gonna call the function called add tax. Now this will be responsible for adding the tax and displaying it here. So we're gonna take the array to do list. Okay, the list that we need to print out. So down here, I'm gonna create my function. So const add tax. This I'm gonna create our take tax as a parameter argument. Like this. So now this is what we want to do. If remember this our item, this one had a heading class because I'm reload is heading because there's nothing here by default. So if there's nothing there, we don't want to show it, but if we do have some content, it will be shown. Okay, so we want to say if tax list, which is this one right here, a tax list, that class list contain heading, so that means it is heading. Okay, heading, and our tax, which is the array length, is greater than 0. Then we want to remove the heading class. So every time we press enter and add it, it's gonna check if it's originally hidden, and we do have something inside our list, then we need to display, we need to remove the hidden class. So this is gonna be remove. So if I save this now, okay, so like add something. So let me say there, and see it remove because now our to do list do have some element inside of it. Okay, so if you take a look at the application again, we see how the hello there, right? See, so let me delete this. Okay, so the next thing we need to do, every time we add a new one, we want to set our list, I want to set it to be empty so the new one can be added. Otherwise just keep adding it over the same thing. Okay, how we duplicate, so we want to empty it first before we add a new one. So we want to set the tags list da inner HTML equals empty, like this. Okay, and after that one, now we want to loop through this individual list and item instead of to do list and print them out. So now create a tags, since it's an array for each. I'm gonna pass in tags and then the index. So this first one represent the current element we going through. This index represent the index, the position of the element. Okay, now I'm gonna grab the value. Every time we go through, we're gonna grab the value. So I'm gonna say something like const tags value will be equals to tags, the one we going through at that moment. So if I save this now and console log tags value, let me add something here, say by, that's the value now, and see it's already is showing. Okay, show first empty it. Now if you take a look to do, now it's empty. Okay, so now if I add another one, say milk, see milk is showing, but you see AC had the by there because it's going through the array again. Okay, and printing out what is there. Okay, so I want to create a function that we will use to generate each individual one of these, the li itself. Okay, so come right here. After this one, I will set const generate list HTML, like that. And this we take the contents and index, and I will explain what these two will do. Okay, now create my list const list, maybe the string label like this, and then I'm gonna copy one of these, just one of them. So copy the first one, now comment all of this one out. Now save this, and here I'm gonna paste it right here. Okay, now remove is edits, this one, and for here I'll set the data index, and this one will be, I'll use the $sign right here to put our variable be the index. Okay, and in here where it's set up to do text, our content will go right here. That's the content we passing in here. Okay, which is the value right here. So content, and the same thing will be for the input value right here, this one. Okay, so after this one, I'm gonna say return list. Okay, so now we need to generate, every time we add it, we need to generate the list and then put it inside of the URL. So right here, I'm gonna create my, let's say generate, ready, click comment generate list HTML. It's gonna be the const, say the list item equals generate HTML, and then for the contents, it will be our tax value right here, and we're gonna pass it the index. Okay, and this index will come in handy when we updating and deleting the item. Okay, so if I say this now, okay, nothing happens here. It's still empty, just the stuff that we coming out, but it's still empty. So what we need to do after this one, we need to add it to this URL. So we're gonna grab our task list and use the insert a JSON HTML inserted before and so we're gonna add it before the closing of the URL, and then we want passing the element that we want to insert. So it's gonna be the list item. So if I save this now and let's say buy milk, see, buy milk is showing. See, so I'm gonna say start a new tutorial. See, a new tutorial is added right here. Okay, let's say if we did not have this and tags, we did not empty the HTML. Let me show you what it will do. If I say this now, okay, everything is hidden again. So I say buy milk is there. Say start a new video. See, buy milk is there again because going through the list, the task again, to do list, and reprinting going through it and reprinting everything again. So if I say finish reading, now you see buy milk, start new video, buy milk, start new video, finish reading. Okay, that's why we need to empty it first. We need to reset it and then add it. Okay, so say buy milk and finish reading. Now see, buy milk didn't print again. So if we go inside our application, we have our storage. We hold this, but if I refresh it, it's still there, but there's no way for us to get it back right here. Okay, so and because right here when pressing enter is adding to it. Okay, so we need to check if we have some item inside of storage and unload, and if we do, then we need to add them to the page first. So to do that, it's very simple. Since this is an array, if we get it, it will return toward the string, so we need to convert it back to object. And to do that, we're gonna use a JSON that parse like this, and then you see the window, that local storage. Now we're gonna use the get item, and we just need to pass the key, and the key here is just tax right here. So we're gonna check if we have this. If we do have it, I'm gonna use a ternary operator. If this exists, if we do have some information concerning this, then we're gonna grab it. It's gonna be our array. Okay, our to do list gonna be this array. If we don't have anything by default on page reload, then we set to brand new array, empty array. Okay, if I save this now, nothing will still show up. But if I put start a new workout, so a new workout is added. See, now it show everything. Okay, so before go, now we need to be able to make sure that this shows and reload. If we do have something, then we need to call the add tags outside of this get. Okay, and we need to call it right after this generates our task, and then we need to pass in the to do list. That is, so if I save this now, see, now it's showing. No matter how much I refresh, it's showing. So I say record video. Record video is here. Now it's stay. Okay, so that's the local storage. Now we're able to save it and bring it back and display it, so it stay no matter how. If you go back and come, it will be here. Okay, so that's the adding task. Now let's talk about the updates. So come down here, I'm gonna collapse this. So I'll write a little comment right here. Okay, updates, and remove tax. Okay guys, if you have any question, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer it. If you have not already done so, if you're liking this tutorial, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. Also don't forget to like and share. Thank you. Okay, now once our task list, the URL itself, okay, I'm gonna add a click event to it. Add click like this, and then I'm gonna give it passing the e as an argument. Then we're gonna check if we're clicking on the this or this one. Okay, so I'm say the constant updates btn. So this will be e that target. The e that target will show us what we clicked on. Okay, the closest we travel up. Okay, and then we want to look, when pass it what we want to look. We want to look for the btn, the updates. So we travel up, whatever we click on, we travel up and look for this one. If we find it, then that's our update btn. So if we find it, we'll say if updates btn, then I'm gonna return, well, a function return updates task, and then I'm gonna pass in again our button, update button. Okay, the reason why we do return, we're gonna do the same thing for delete. Okay, so we don't want to go do anything. Okay, so now create our update task right here. So I'm gonna create a function, and I call it update task, and I'm passing the targets. So we want to select what we're clicking on, in this case the button. So I'm going to select few things: the list, individual list, the form inside of each list that need to be shown to be updated, the input, and the index. Okay, so we have our accounts list, so it's gonna be the target, so this button. Okay, the closest. Okay, we not travel up again, then we're gonna find its parent to be the to do, the item. Okay, and I'm gonna select our form, and this is gonna be form, and then now set our form input, and this will be the form that we just selected right here, the query selector. I'm gonna select the inputs. Okay, so that is set of our index, and this index, if we take a look inside the HTML, let me click on this one. See, we have and the 0, 1, 2, 3, because inside the array the first one is at position 0, second one position 1, so that's what we want to select, so we can update that inside the array. So it's gonna be I put plus list, so we can turn this one to a number type, otherwise it's gonna be the string. So plus list, I'm gonna select this data index, so I'm gonna use a data set and then that index. Okay, so this will return the 0, 1, 3. Okay, so whatever we click on, so we click on this one, it should return out 0. Click on this one, it should return out 2. Okay, so let me just cancel out. As you can see, index. So I save this. So I click first one, 0, click this one, 2, click this one, 3, 1, as you can see. So that's what we need. So when we click that one, we want to add the class to our item right here, so the paragraph can be hidden and the form can be shown, the import can be shown. So set the list, the toggle class, no, not toggle class, class list, the toggle. So we're gonna add and remove is edit, like this. If I save it, so if I click this, see, is edit. Now we can type here. Okay, if I click again, it's shown. Now we can type anything. Okay, after is edit, we want to do, as you can see, when we click here, there's no way of knowing that we need to type it, so we need to focus inside of it. So we want to do the if condition. Say if our class, this one, class list that contains is edit one set of form inputs and focus it like this. Then we want to change the icon for this one. So let's say the target, okay, that's the button, the inner HTML gonna be our icon. Just like this. Okay, so if I save this now, so I click it, oh yeah, sorry, there's a tab right here, content. So I save this one. Okay, now let's click it. Now you see it's focused, but if you take a look, we should be starting it right here, but it's putting the focus at the back. Okay, so if I saw right something, it's staying in the back, but we should be focusing right here. Okay, so as you can see, so we need to fix that. So to fix that, we're going to use a JavaScript function called the set selection range. It allows you to select a portion with text within the HTML and put a text area element. So this is how it works. First, we select the element that we want to be able to select. Okay, so for example, here that would be the form input right here. So we have something like this: form input, the set selection range. So set selection range take two arguments. The first is the starting position and the second is the ending position. So the starting position is the index of the first character that you want to select inside the input, and the ending position is the index of the last character that you just selected, you just want to select. So in this case, we want to start right here. Okay, So when we click it, we want to start right here. So we need to grab the length of our value. So it's gonna be the our starting position, the end of this, and the end position, the end of that as well. So to do it, to show it to you, I'm gonna create a constant called length, the value, the length our value, which will be from that value, that length. Okay, and then we pass in as the starting position the value length, and the ending position also value length. So if I save this now and we start edit it, now you can see it's starting at the end of our input. So now you can go right everyone. Okay, now we want, when we close it out, we want to change the icon back again. Okay, so say else right here, I'll grab this one, so paste it right here, and then this one, it will be edit like this. So I say this, so we have editing. Now we're done. No. Now if we write anything right here, press enter, it just refresh itself. Okay, so after that we need to add the event listener now to the form. Okay, this form now that the input inside of, so we're gonna say we select it right here. Okay, so we have form that add event listener, and listen to the submit, passing the e as an argument. First time we're gonna prevent the default action, which is the submit. Then we're gonna call another function called updates, and this function will take two arguments from the form input and the index. Again, we need the index to update the correct one. Okay, so down here, create a function to update that, our function update, taking the input and the index. So all we have to do, I'm going to grab the new value. So say new value is going to be our input, that value, just like this. Okay, so if I console like this, new value, save it. So let's say I'm doing this one, put milk and egg. Okay, press enter. See, this is the new value. Okay, if I click this one and go back to milk again, just buy milk. So what we need to do now, we need to push this one to the array. So we say check again, if our new value is not empty, so that means we need to erase everything. So if new value is not empty string, then we need to grab our to-do list, which is the array, and then we need to access the index at that position. So if this is the first one, that's 0, we need to access the array at 0 position at that index, and then we need to set the new value to the new input value that we just received. Okay, so now, and let me show the to-do list right here before we add it, and then let's see it. To-do list. Save this. Now let's take a look. So if say buy milk and egg. Okay, the first one, see, that's this one that we canceled before we added. It say buy milk, but now for the new one, after we update it at this position, say buy milk and egg. Okay, you see this? And if I press this, it should go back to just buy milk. Now we need to send the local storage and then add it to the add it here. Okay, so all we have to do is just window. Actually, let me just go up here. Let's say this one. That's all we had to do. Grab this one, come down here, and then put it right here. So we're just gonna add it to the local storage. Okay, it's just updating it. Okay, and then we're gonna call the add task. Then I'm gonna pass in the to do list as well. Okay, if you guys have any question, feel free to put it in the comment section. If you have not already done so, I will appreciate it if you like it, if you're liking this video, and share it. Also subscribe if you have not already done that as well. So if I say this now, so if I refresh, nothing. But if I edit, say buy milk and egg, so I press enter, now it stay. See? Yeah, refresh it, buy milk and egg. Okay, so let's say I want to delete this one. I want also be able to, if I press this one, to stay, to update as well. So all we have to do after the else here, we just need to call this update again. That's why I create this separate function for it. So right here, save this. So if I say buy milk, just buy milk and press this one, now it just milk. Now let's try to do it for this one. Start new workout, add the new gym, press this, see, it stay, everything work. So if I just delete this and I press enter, everything stay around. Okay, so that's the update. Now next we're gonna start working on the delete function, which is so easy, fairly easy. Okay, so I'm gonna collapse this one right here and the updates, this one, and then going back here, we need to grab the update button. So for this one, I just say if, no, I'm gonna select the, I might delete again, so I'll just duplicate this, and this one, so the update is gonna be delete. So Control D, so delete, but that's a class that it has. So I'm just gonna put it right here, say if is delete, so we're gonna be delete. Use the delete button, we're gonna call the delete task, and I'm gonna pass in our button again. So down here, I'm gonna create a function, it'll be delete task. Taking targets, and that's the button. Okay, so what do we want to do? So we want to grab the list, our to do list right here. So I say constant to do, no, not to do list, the item, each individual li. Okay, so got a list because the targets. Okay, we want to travel to the top and find our closest to do item. Okay, then again, one grab the index, and the index will be turned into a number, so we put plus in front of it, list, the data set, the index, just like that. Okay, so now we need to delete the element from the array. Okay, so the array can be updated before we reprint it to the screen. Okay, so we're gonna use the splice. Okay, to show where to delete it. Okay, that's why we need the index. So we're gonna say the to do list, which is the array, the splice, and then we're gonna give it the index, so where we want to delete it, and then pass it 1 to say that we only want to delete just one. Okay, This for this one's they just 1. So if you are 0, you're gonna and find the element position 0 inside the array and remove it, and that's it. Okay, so after that one, all we had to do, added the local storage, and then again print it to the screen. So if I just grab these two, because that's what we're doing, and then paste it right here. Okay, so I save this now. So let's say, let me add our finish reading, click delete. So finish reading is gone. Okay, so it's no longer here. So let's say delete this one. See, it's gone. We now had a 0 and a 1. If I delete this one, delete it as well, and now the index back to 0. Okay, so I delete this one now. It is deleted. Okay, but now we have our URL right here that is still showing. We want to remove it because there's nothing else here. We want to remove it. Okay, so for our add tags right here, if we go back to right here, the function right here, add tags, remember how we are removing it. If we do have something here, now we need to hide it if we have nothing here. Okay, so every time we deleting it, we are calling the add tags. Okay, so before we do the inner HTML to be empty, now here we're gonna check again. So say if tags length, that's the array, is less than or equal to 0, then we need to grab this again and add a class to it. So add. Okay, so if I save this now there's nothing here. So let me try it again. Start a new workout. Now it's showing eat more vegetable, drink more water. So I have these 3. Okay, so now say we start, let me edit this one to vegetable and fruits. Okay, so update nicely. Okay, I'm see showing something here, but let me go say 115. Oh yep, I delete this one. So if I say this now, see we see everything here because it's saved to a local storage. Now let's say I delete this one, delete it, but as soon as we delete this one, okay, it's hidden. Okay, the hidden class added is hidden. So if I refresh, there's nothing else there to show. But if I add another one, make a new video tutorial, press my add, it's still working. Okay, I say for YouTube, press this, it's working. Refresh it, it's still right here. Okay, now let's say if I say eat rice and say drink more water. See the new one that we adding, keep adding to the bottom right here. Let's say you don't want to do that, you want the new one that we add to show up on the bottom and the old one to be on the bottom. No, sorry, if you want a new one to stay on the top and the old one to stay on the bottom, it's very simple. You see how we have our task and insert adjacent to be before n. All you have to change, instead of before n, it's gonna be after begin. So right here, so that before n is gonna be after begin. So if I say this now, see, drink more water is the newest one. See, as you can see, it flip it. So drink more water, eat rice. So if I add something new here, say finish reading the book. So finish reading the book is showing, as you can see. Okay, so but I'm going to leave it as the other one, but even in case you want to do it, that's how you're going to update it. Save this. Now we have it right here. So I refresh, it's there. So if If you have any questions, leave in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you again for watching this week tutorial. Thank you for your time. So that'll be it for this week. Until next time, have a great one and take care. Bye.